Welcome to NuttieBuddie Sports.
Okay, let's go on to Clinton. Clinton, what's one thing that interests you in this draft?
Well, I won't steal any of your thunder with the Lions, but I do.
You can.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case,
yeah. Just say good things only, though.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're out.
Yeah. But I think I really like what the Lions did then. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson was kind of like a layup that he didn't go first, so you might as well just take him second, since they have apparently bad luck with drafting cornerbacks in the top 4. So it's good that the Lions didn't go with that one. But trading up, they paid a hefty price, but trading up to get Jamison Williams is probably something. It's perfect for what they're looking to do. I mean, they're not going to be great next year anyhow. So if he can't play the first half of the season, doesn't really matter. You got the almighty Jared Goff, so he's not your future anyhow. But at least you have a good base there, defense, offensive line the last couple of years, and you throw in another receiver to go with. Now I can't think of his name, who was great last year for them at the end of the year, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, like building up the base slowly, especially from the offensive defensive line, and now throwing in who a lot of people thought was the top wide receiver in the draft besides his injury. I think it's, pretty much a layup, and you're probably going to have a high pick next year anyhow. So.
And what I loved, they jumped up 20 spots and they didn't even have to give up another first round pick. They only gave up one first round pick. They didn't have to give up another one. I think they gave up pick 32 and 34 in the second round, but that's fine. They got another first round pick next year. I'm kind of hoping if they like Malik Willis, that they might use that Rams pick next year to try to move up in the draft again to get him, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I really liked what they did, especially getting the homegrown. My dad's probably so excited about that because he's a big Michigan fan as well. So good for you, Dad. I'm glad that the draft panned out that way. Okay, Luke, what about you? Anything that like took you aback or anything that interests you in the draft?
We drafted a guy who literally crashed his car like before the draft. Like,
hey, you got Trent Baalke.
don't remind me of. Don't bring that up.
Hey, he was the Niners GM forever, and he got rid of Harbaugh. So, have fun with that.
Yeah, Travis Etienne was your pick last year. He's healthy now. It's like another first round draft pick, right?
Thank you, Avery. In case I feel like people probably aren't keeping up with the Jags very much. Don't worry, I'm here. I know anyone that's listening to this is very concerned. So the last game of last season, the Jags fan base down in Jacksonville, they literally had a clown out where they had as many people as possible dress up like clowns. They all changed their social media avatars to a picture of the emoji with the mustache, because our owner Shad Khan has a huge mustache, and they put a little and then they put a clown face on it, and everyone changed it because our organization is run by clowns was the idea behind it. And it was it was trying to get upper management. We wanted to get the owner to fire Baalke because Trent Baalke is so bad at his job. The idea was we will make the owner fire this guy. He will not ruin this team any more than he already has. And so we dressed up like clowns and we won. Then the Colts just needed to beat us. The Colts needed to beat us to make the playoffs, and we won with the fan base dressed like clowns. That is what's going on in Jacksonville. So naturally now here we are, our organization, our clown show, our circus we got going on, and we drafted this, I'm sure this is fine. You're like, where do you need? Where do you have holes? Like the whole team, we need help everywhere. I would have said defensive line. I guess I would have thought offensive line better.
So let me interrupt you.
I'll keep going.
Yeah. So Avery, I got a question for you. So when you buy a house, what's the first thing that you buy when you buy a house? What do you make sure you have?
A water heater.
Well, that's important.
Television.
Insurance probably.
Insurance. That's my point. You don't go buy a Ferrari or like a car, right? You get insurance. Like, to me, they bought last year into Trevor Lawrence, and he was like one of the most pressured quarterbacks in the NFL last year. And I watched games with Luke, which I already mentioned on the other podcast. And man, that guy did not have any time to throw. And I don't understand why they didn't draft an offensive tackle. I do like their second pick. I do like that Devin Lloyd pick out of Utah, the linebacker they got. But the first pick, I just like, I would have went offensive line. I don't know what they're thinking.
Well, okay. So from what I understand, this, for whatever reason, I was not big on Hutchinson at all. But they said that just from watching him. I watched the Big Ten games last year. I didn't think he was great. Personally, they're like, well, what are you watching? I mean, I thought he dominated against teams and lines that were inferior, which I don't find impressive. But hey, I don't watch a whole lot of college football, so whatever. But this Walker guy, from what they say, he is the most versatile of all of the players that you can kind of put him anywhere. He is equally as effective in run and pass situations. He was at linebacker quite a bit. So in theory, it sounds like it could work great. It's just that I would have rather, as Ryan is pointing out here, I would have rather had something that helps Trevor Lawrence out, because if our defensive line is better this year, does anyone really care? does anyone, what, we're going to win 5 games instead of 4 because we got a couple sacks at the end of a game, maybe? Like, who cares? We need our quarterback to not get hurt because he is the future. So, and what really nice, since James Robinson ruptured his Achilles with a couple weeks to go in the season last year, we're putting a guy who has no experience at running back in there, who probably could have used a little bit bigger hole to run through. So what do I know?
Go ahead, Clint.
Yeah, well, Walker has long arms, so Trent Baalke had to draft him. So it's just that it's like a written room. Yeah, he just had long arms.
Please,
and I think the Jaguars
insults, Clint, as many insults as you possibly can towards his direction. With the Jags fan base will love you. You're one of us.
I think the Jaguars suffered from the fact that there wasn't any kind of quarterback in this draft, because I think they probably would have traded out of that pick and traded down to 5, 6, 7, 8 or whatever, probably to 6 that Carolina had a premium quarterback when in this draft. So I think, yeah, they won the first pick. Great. But I would agree, between Hutchinson, Walker, I don't know. I think Aiden Hutchinson will be fine, but I don't think he's like a Bosa or, one of those dominant defensive linemen. I think if they get someone beside him, that turns out to be a good edge rusher, he'll probably look good because, one of them, 2 people can't be doubled. So, but I think, yeah, long arms, Trent Baalke, it's a marriage.
Well, as long as he bites off kneecaps, Detroit will be fine. Avery, you had something?
Well, as long, going along with your thought there, Clint, there wasn't a clear number 1 quarterback, but there also wasn't a clear number 1 draft pick. Almost every single year over the last 20 years, there's been a guy, whether that's a quarterback or not. And I believe it was a couple hours before the draft, and there were still rumors flying that the Jags didn't know who they were going to pick. Now, it came out they took Trayvon Walker, but some people think that they should have picked offensive tackle like you guys. They should have taken Neal or Ekonwu or Thibodeau. I mean, there's so many other picks that nobody really knew that this is probably the worst year to have the number 1 overall pick.
Well,
it's so Jags.
Yeah, which is Jags. And I was just going to say, I'll let you go, Luke, but there was also multiple teams with high picks this year. Like the Jets had 2 first-round picks. The Giants had 2 first-round picks. The Saints had 2 first-round picks. The Eagles had 3 first-round picks. So really, if in theory, the Jags would have been a really good position any other year with teams fighting to get up to the number 1 pick, but there was no one to take with the number 1 pick. So it wasn't a good year.
Look, this is really just, we're just
piling on.
No. The real question here, we're all just building up to what we're really looking forward to in this upcoming NFL season. Can the Jags get the first overall pick 3 years in a row? Hey, we're going for I'm sure that's a record. There's no way that any team's done that before. We're going to take it on. We got this. We can do this.
Well, we all need something. We all need something to root for. Funny, I just got apparently Aaron Rodgers. Let's see. When I made my decision, I still thinking he was going to come back. He was talking about Devontae Adams. He must have tweeted that or something. Source says, when I made my decision, I was still thinking he was going to come back. So Aaron Rodgers was not happy with the first round of the NFL draft, and
Yikes.
I might as well start there, which was fascinating to me. As once again, the Packers did not come away with wide receiver in the first round. They lost MVS, who some Packer fans liked. I was never a big fan of his. They got Sammy Watkins, so I think they'll be okay. But yeah, I know.
He's hurt already.
And they didn't get a wide receiver. Now, obviously, a lot of the good wide receivers were taken by the time the Packers picked. But my thing is, like, you got 2 first-round picks. Why didn't you trade up to get one? Bakhtiari, I think he tweeted like, well, defense wins championships after the first 2 pick, the Packers pick, because they drafted Wyatt and let's see here, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. And then they drafted Walker, the linebacker out of Georgia. And I'm like, well, last year, the Packers defense allowed the San Francisco 49ers to score 6 points on offense. So defense did not help you there. Just throwing that out there. Like, so maybe you need pass catchers that can get open. But anyway, not a good draft, in my opinion, for the Packers.
I actually, I'm not as opposed to what they did as you guys seem to be, just because I feel like if you weren't going to go for the top 4 wide receivers, the second guy from Ohio State, again, I don't watch a whole lot of college football, but from what I could tell, after the top 4 receivers, they're all kind of in the same range as far as, is this guy a sure thing or not? It's kind of like, no, we'll see who develops. And I just think back to when, again, of course, I'm going to go to my team, but like Allen Robinson is the 2nd round pick. Like, we got Laviska Shenault in the 4th round. If he could catch a ball, he'd be awesome. But there's always talent in the later rounds when it comes to receivers. So if they really like a guy who wasn't going to go in the 1st round and they think he's just as good as some of these other guys, like, we don't know what they have. Every team's got their own ranking system. If they take a guy early tomorrow, I don't think this is a bad decision. I mean, it seems like this Walker's a pretty good linebacker. Georgia, of course, I don't know if you watched Georgia at all this year, but their defense is fantastic.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I guess I'm not really against it. I thought it was fine.
First of all, this is a first round reaction. So let me overreact to the fact that the Packers organization's incompetent. Go ahead, Clint.
So this is what, I'm not a Packer fan, so call me a hater all you want. This is what frustrates me. Oh, totally. So this is why I appreciate what the Rams do, even if it doesn't pan out, but it did for them this last year. They got a Super Bowl. When the Packers say we went all in, and I've listened to a couple Packer podcasts, and they continue to say how the Packers went all in last year, but they named 2 guys like Devondre Campbell and what was the cornerback? Rasul Douglas. They listed in, hey, we went all in. You literally pick the dudes up off practice squads. Like, that doesn't count as going all in. That counts as, hey, you found someone who was good. Great. Going all in is trading your picks for people that are good, whether it's moving up for one of the top 5 or 6 wide receivers this year, or whether you're trading them to get a wide receiver or an edge rusher, a linebacker, whatever they've needed over the years. So I understand what they're doing. We're going to go defense. We're going to build our team defense. So we're going to treat Aaron Rodgers basically like Jimmy Garoppolo going forward, apparently, because we can't trust him in the playoffs. So we're going to give him bare minimum and just say, hey, AJ Dillon's going to get the ball 30 times because you can't play in the cold, old man. So I get what they're doing. But again, you have Aaron Rodgers for 1, 2, maybe 3 years max right here. And you're like, hey, maybe we'll draft someone good in the 2nd round. He's not going to be great as a rookie. He might be helpful. So you're playing for next year. Aaron Rodgers is going to get hurt or fall off a cliff. It's just, I'm not a Packer fan, and it's frustrating to watch because you're like, you just trade the stupid 22 and 28 pick and move up, or trade it for AJ Brown or whoever you can get, throw 28 and get Hollywood Brown or something, someone who can take the top off the defense. But instead, you're going to go with defense, and a couple of these guys are going to look good. And hey, as far as I always joke with Packer fans, you just drafted 2 more Georgia guys. So when it's cold, they're not going to know how to play in the cold anyhow. But we're going to talk about the cold of Lambeau Field again, which all of our guys are from the South that can't play in the cold. But it's just, that's what's frustrating. Not even as a Packer fan, as a football fan, just trade the stupid picks. Who cares if you're bad 3 years from now for a year or two? I don't get it.
Go ahead, Avery.
Might I say you love to see it? I mean, Packer fans are so annoying when it comes to literally everything. And every single draft, they're like, we need offense, we need offense, we need offense. Because they do. They really need offense. And then their GM comes out and you're like, we need offense. And Rodgers is like, we need offense. And they draft the exact opposite. They get a defensive tackle and a linebacker, like Clint said, from the South. That's not giving you a home field advantage when it's 30 degrees outside or 2 degrees outside. Like, it makes no difference. How are you going to score more than 6 points in a playoff game with your best receiver as 1.5 hamstring Sammy Watkins?
It's so true. It's so true. And that's the thing that's so funny is like, I'm not a Packer fan either. So like, I think most of us here aren't, right? Like, I think, no, none of us are Packer fans here, which is funny because we all live in Wisconsin. And it's just like, it's like you said, like with those podcasts, like they talk themselves into these being like, oh, we went all in last year. No, you didn't. No, you didn't go all in last year. And that's the only thing rebuttal I'd have with you, Luke, is with maybe they liked only 4 wide receivers. All of them got off the board. It's like the Lions trade their 32nd overall pick in 2 seconds to go up and get a receiver at 12. Their pick is more valuable than the 32nd pick, at 22 and 28. So they couldn't move up to get one of the 4 receivers they wanted. Or Hollywood Brown's another good example of like, hey, just get somebody who can spread, can spread the field, but no, they didn't do that.
Well, let me just make this clear. I didn't hate it. Like, I didn't think it was, but I'm right there with you guys. It's absolutely hilarious. I mean, this is because they drafted Jordan Love with Aaron Rodgers on their team. I mean, and then here's the worst. Hold on, though. Hold on. Here's the worst part about that. Not only did they draft him, but this is considered like a defendable thing that they did. Like, there's a defense. It's like, I can defend that. That was defensible. This is a defensible thing. We needed to encourage Aaron Rodgers to play harder. He was just doing. So you threw a 1st round pick away to motivate your MVP max, whatever highest contract. Just no. Okay. And this is coming from as someone who knows, a Jags fan, someone who knows incompetence when he sees it. I see incompetence, but just so we're clear, I don't hate this pick. I just don't love it.
I will say that they traded up to get Jordan Love as well. Just a reminder, everybody. So it wasn't just a 1st round pick they gave up for Jordan Love. It was more.
Did you guys know if Jordan Love was any good, that the Jags would not have picked 1st this year because Jordan Love would have beat the Lions in week 17, and that would have put the Lions the 1st pick instead of the Jags. Just so you guys know.
Yeah. So there we have it. Anything else with the Packers? You good with them? Yeah, okay, let's move on. Let's go back to Avery. Maybe we can do one more time. So that was a clip of our recent quick takes on the 1st round of the NFL draft. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you'd like to listen to the rest of our quick takes, go ahead and click on the links below. It'll take you right to the podcast for Apple and Spotify. Otherwise, you can search NuttieBuddie Sports and you'll find it normally where you listen to podcasts. What you liked, what you didn't like. Also, subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will talk to you guys soon.